Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another amazing session at W Square Instagram Live. Today, I'm going to be having a very special guest who's going to be interacting with us on a very beautiful topic, which is exploring entrepreneurial opportunities from home in terms of how with minimal investment can we actually start off our entrepreneurial journey. And of course, this beautiful individual who we are calling in today is Miss Trishla Chalani. She is an interior designer and stylist, and she's the founder of Bold Interior Stories. So she's also going to be helping us with some quick tips on how during this lockdown phase we can kind of spark up our surroundings and cheer ourselves up. So taking no time further, I'm going to be inviting Ms. Trishla to join us for this session. While for all of you, till we're just connecting in with her, please feel free to drop in your questions in the comments, and we can take them through this discussion. Just going to be connecting in with Trishla. We're still trying to get her connection.
Hi, Jinal.
Hi, Trishla, I'm still not able to see your video.
Okay.
So,
I am able to see it here on the screen. Shall I exit? Do you reconnect?
yes, let me just try and reconnect again.
Sure.
Sorry, everyone, we're just trying to reconnect, so please hang in there. We should be having Trishla join us in a couple of seconds. Yes,
Hi.
now I can see you. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good as well.
Sorry for the slight delay. I think we had some technical glitch with the internet and connectivity.
No problem.
Super. So, thank you so much for taking your time out today and being part of this Instagram Live.
No worries with that. I'm happy to be here again and have an amazing conversation with you as well.
Absolutely. So, to start off this session, I think I'd like to understand how has this lockdown been for you, and how have you been spending your time?
Luckily, actually, I keep traveling almost every month, and last 8 months that's been my schedule. Like in a month, at least 15-20 days, I'm out of Chennai. And from March 15th to April 15th, I was not traveling much except for 2 days. So I had already started to schedule these online workshops even before this lockdown was supposed to happen. Okay, so I started with my online workshop, and within a week, lockdown happened. So I was continuing that till now, and it's still going on for me. So I would say unknowingly, but yes, I had started my work by then itself. So I was completely occupied with it for the entire day. Yeah.
Amazing. So I think it's important to keep yourself engaged and occupied, irrespective of our current situation.
Yeah, that's true.
So, coming to understand in terms of your career path, how did you choose this?
Um, I always liked something creative than something theoretical. Like, where I can just go, like, I can imagine, I can visualize. I like things, something with relative to that. So, like, then I was about to take architecture. And then I was like, no, not architecture. I will do something, like, I'll do interiors. And at that time, I was searching for that course here. And I didn't know they had degree with it. I was fine even doing diploma, but I wanted to do interiors. That one thing I was really very clear with. So I spoke to a few institutes, and they're like, we have bachelors as well. I'm like, then this is what I wanted. So I started with that, but it has been an amazing journey, I would say, with a lot of ups and downs, obviously. But I really cherish the journey which I've had from then. So like I started my journey with the subject, and then from the second year I started to work. So I worked with an construction company here in Chennai, which is Olympia Infrastructure Development. They are like one of the amazing companies. Like they do a lot of green buildings and everything. Then I worked with a glass facade company, and then I worked with an architect, and then I started with my own.
Wow, beautiful. So I think that entire journey of being sure of what you wanted, doing multiple internships, being part of
Yes,
different projects has
gave me an
exposed you.
amazing exposure. Yes,
Absolutely, absolutely.
yeah.
So
So
today
like
we are. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
continue.
go ahead.
Yeah. So like always people kind of degrade our city as Chennai being not very creative. They always think that if you're a creative person, you'll either be from Mumbai or from Delhi or from Bangalore. Maximum they would go to Bangalore, Hyderabad. And whenever I say people that I'm from Chennai, they're like, Chennai? I'm like, yes.
I think sometimes it's the perspective that needs to be changed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, to just take the conversation forward, today we see a lot of women who take up interior designing, styling as a profession. So, any quick tips that you could advise these women who are just starting off on how they should be taking this journey?
Yeah. So, women who are just starting up, right? I would always want them to do one thing consistently. That is, keep your online existence or your offline existence, like at the strongest path. Like either you be consistent with your videos or with your posts or with your ideas, because every time you cannot be present to everybody to give them an understanding that see, I am here and I do this. Okay,
Right.
there has to be a platform where they can go and they can have a check about you as well, where they know a bit about you as well, or at least they can figure out about you. Okay, like when you are styling and interiors is something which cannot be restricted to that city or that area. The more you step out, the more different ideas you get and the more you explore. Okay, so it is really very important that you guys explore a bit. Like I would suggest that instead of immediately spending on masters or immediately spending on further education after you're done with your bachelor's, work under someone, or travel for exhibitions. Is my voice echoing?
For me, I can hear you clearly. So
Okay, no,
I'm not
because
too sure if
okay, no,
the
because they're
echo is
saying your
happening.
voice is echoing, so yeah.
Yes, so I'm surprised myself, and I think since we're using the headphones, I think it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, so I'll just continue then. So,
Sure.
I would suggest that explore, read a lot of blogs, like, and also see top interior designers, how they work, and follow them majorly. Because these people travel so much, you get an idea about in each and every city, in each country, what is really there, what is best. Like, I follow a lot this page of Vinita Chaitanya. Like she keeps traveling abroad, and she shows which city has, like what is good in that city, what is extensively available, at what price. And a lot of brands have started to do that about their products as well. Like they're giving us the ideas about what is good, what is not good. So even being in this lockdown period, it is not necessary that we have to wait for exhibitions to come. You can follow those brands, you can browse, you can see online magazines, all these top architectural magazines, and everybody, they have given a free subscription for the online platform, like for the lockdown period. So you have so much of data available right now that you guys can study, like you guys can really explore about.
I think very beautifully shared that it's important to do your research. It's important to have a mentor who you could follow in terms of a path.
Yeah. One more thing is that, like people always ask for books. I'm like, see, if we had so many structured books, things would have been really very easy. Okay, but the point is that we don't have so many structured books, but we have so many designers who are ready to share their work with us, who are ready to share the experience with us. So that's more engaging, and that's more knowledge binding than the books are.
I think that's true, and I think there's a comment which mentions that there could be an echo from my side. Are you able to hear an echo too?
Your voice is a bit heavy, so I think maybe because it's a closed door or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, just is this clear now? Is this clear now?
No, it's
Are
echoing
you?
now. Even more.
It's echoing even further. Is it better now? Is it better now?
Yeah, but your voice is not following. Like after you speak, your voice is coming.
So there's a lag.
Yeah.
Got my headphones. I'm trying to figure on what I could do.
You can just take off your headphones and have a conversation normally also. It's a Bluetooth, right? So there might be a
Yes.
glitch because of that.
How is it okay? No, I think there's still an echo, right? Let me just try and Is this better now?
Yes, much better.
Okay, sure. Sorry for the glitch, and I think it
No
definitely
problem.
did stop us from the conversation, but I think I'm just going to take it forward from where we last stopped, which
Yeah.
was about having a mentor, someone who you could follow and also get advice.
Yes.
So, who is your mentor, like you shared, for those who are looking at to kind of kickstart? How should they choose their mentor? And who's that mentor who you strongly follow personally?
I follow a lot of accounts actually. Majorly, like these magazines, Architectural Digest, LA Decor, all of these magazines, and I also, follow this India Design page. I really like the kind of detailing which they present there, and then a lot of architects and interior designers as well, like Studios Mosses. There is SSJ. Then there is Sanjay Puri, a lot of them actually. Even I would have to go back and see how many people I am following for that. Like that's like, a minute I'm free and I tune into my Instagram and I see what is their post, what is new thing can I learn, what is the new aspect of design. I really like this to Studio Ebony, which is Pondicherry, like Auroville based. So they have amazing antique stuff with them. So I like their page, like the kind of work they do. And there is Bharat Floorings. I like their flooring design a lot. Then there is Evolve Surfaces. They have a different kind of metal work on the doors and everything. So I believe Instagram has so much to for us to explore that you actually don't need any other platform itself. You can spend hours and you won't even realize that yes, what you have been doing from page to page to page to page to page, and it just keeps going on and on.
I think very true. And also, since we're talking about design style, it brings me to one of the questions that was is very essential today of leveraging our time at home, and also how entrepreneurs can with minimal investment create art or style something unique that interior designers could use or they personally could style their own homes with. So could you share some quick tips on this?
See, like when I say, like art is something which can be created with any material. Like recently, I met through Instagram only one of amazing artist, Shruti Zaveri. She creates out of scrap paper. and sustainable art and amazing pieces she makes tea tables, tea table designings out of it. She makes wall paint decors, she makes structures out of it, she can make dresses out of it. So she can make a lot of creative art with it. And then we have also I have seen a lot of people doing with waste, scrap fabrics. They like I went to this Leela Palace in Kovalam. Okay, so what they had was a patchwork, a 4 by 4 inch ka patchwork, which was framed in a white frame, which was a piece of art. And it was so beautifully presented with an accent lighting, with a spotlight on top of it, that I was like, okay, it's just a 4 by 4 inch ka an artwork. And not that too, this kind of an handicraft work is so much available in India that anybody can sit and do that. They do this jute fabric, there was nothing in the frame, even you wouldn't believe that it was just a normal wooden frame, which had so much of white backdrop, and in the center 4 by 4 inch they just placed that art piece, and it was a general fabric. And then they make doors out of a complete silk sari. I have seen a lot of people, what they do is that they take curtains, that is the done curtains, and they do embroideries on top of it and they give it back on the cushions. The ideas are endless. You can just keep thinking about it and you get more creative with it.
Absolutely. And I think, like you shared, presentation is also a very key element. Having that
It's the key
sense of color.
element. It's the key element. Nobody cares what is inside. They'll be like, हाँ ठीक है, it's looking good, at least 2-3 महीने तो चलेगा. There are a lot of mindsets like that also. And especially with decors, they want it temporary. They don't want it permanent. Because they want to keep changing. They want to keep changing the vibe in their space. So with decors, everything has to be a bit temporary, not really very permanent. Because what happens is that if it becomes permanent, people get bored of it. And nobody wants to spend onto that kind of a level that I want to get off around say 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh. Very few people, only 5% of the crowd would really want to do that kind of a thing, but the rest go for something which is reasonable, which is economical, but still which enhances their space really very well.
I think beautifully shared. And sustainable living, like you also mentioned, today we're very conscious of everything that we're consuming and trying to see how we can get innovative with whatever we have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
I think
would
that's
suggest everybody to work on the organizing elements, the small corners, like organizing the dressing table, organizing the way you organize your loungewear. So small things which we never, on a day-to-day life, we never think of organizing, because all we do is that wake up, get ready, go out, come back, keep it back, sleep. So this lockdown period is giving you that time of actually seeing your own house, figuring out every single corner of your own house, that how well can you organize that house, what more can you add. IKEA has such amazing organizing ideas, organizing elements with them which are not expensive, 200-300 rupees, which is really very economical, and I would also say durable when it comes to accessories of IKEA. I got an amazing foldable laptop table from IKEA, and the day I saw the table, I'm like, this is what I wanted, because I like to a bit be laid back when I'm working. And so for that I have to push myself inside the table, and that kind of in height and that kind of in comfort, I was like I want this table. And I just got it for say 500 rupees. And
absolutely.
it's really amazing to get such cheap decors and still something which is really very accessible and useful.
I
So
think
I would always ask people to take out corners of your house, just see what kind of a mess we had been living in, try to organize. This organizing technique kinds of brings in a nice soothing feeling in yourself, a happiness that yes, wow, everything looks so neat. That kind of an happiness of it is really very good.
I think, like you rightly shared, it helps you declutter as well. When you see things around
Exactly.
you so organized,
Yeah.
definitely uplifts your mood.
So it's the right time, trying different things, like decluttering a lot of areas which we have never seen of our house, or which we never found time to really see of our house. So one best thing is to organize.
I think beautifully shared, and something that we should really try, experiment, and keep ourselves adaptable to change as well. If not, you'll get
Yeah.
very comfortable in your comfort zone day in, day out, seeing and following that same routine.
Actually, and plus organizing is actually not difficult. Once you start getting in habit of it, eventually it ends up getting it there. So like for example, dressing table. Okay, when you have such nice fancy like decent accessories where you use your brushes, you keep it back, you use your kajal, you keep it back, and when you keep it there, it's very easy for you to find it out next day morning without wasting time on searching where exactly my kajal is. You automatically start developing that habit because you don't want to waste that time on figuring out where it is the next day. So such small things, and I'm not asking you to buy something really very fancy. Your regular boxes which are a bit rectangular, all those small things, they can be used.
I think some really nice takeaways from that, and I think end of the day, it's completely upon self to organize on your comfort level. At the same time, also it's not necessary that it's an expensive affair.
True, completely not really necessary,
Absolutely,
because it
and
has to
like
be comfortable at the end of the day.
I think rightly shared. So since we're talking about comfort and also on the fact of finding your things and not being in a hustle the next day, being organized. I think work life balance is also another very key element when it comes to your interiors, even your own personal projects that you take up. How do you balance your time?
Not a right question to me though. Because I'm slightly obsessed with my work. So, when it is incomplete, I cannot sleep that night. So, it is either I have to, and I think, okay, fine, I will sleep, I will try my, like, I'll wake up early, and I do. But to wake up early, I have to sleep. And that doesn't happen unless and until I don't complete. Okay, so when it comes to work life and personal life, I sometimes I just feel it's a burden which we just take it on our heads. If you want a break, take a break. Nothing is going to run away from you. If it is yours, it's yours. So I don't have that kind of an insecurity that if I don't really spend 20 hours in a day, I will not be able to reach up to a goal. I'm like, if I sit 4 hours, I want to finish that work. That's all. So I would just say dedicate those number of hours which you can just focus, and rest of the hours just spend leisurely. Don't take that burden of just completing, because it's a creative job. You cannot really overstress yourself and come out with a really amazing idea. You will end up messing up things. So when you're not getting ideas, when you're so stressed, don't work. I would always say don't work. Just keep things aside. Just go for some fresh breeze. Do something which you can, immediately, instantly uplift your mood, and then continue working. Because with a bad mood, you can never come out with creative ideas.
I think very rightly shared as well. When you're already facing that block, and the minute you try to get to working, you'd only end up getting even more frustrated because you're not
Exactly.
getting
If
to
you
what you
are,
want.
if you just want to rest, just sleep for one day. It's okay. Nobody is going to judge you that you've been sleeping on a weekday. Doesn't matter. But when you're sitting, ensure you're done. You're done with it. Don't again sit with that clutter in your mind that oh my God, I have not done this, I have not done that. Because see, I do not. This is a very passionate job. This is not a job like where you have to sit in front of the PC and just keep working and coding something. This is a job where you come out with creative ideas, where you get inspired, you inspire people. Okay, so with that kind of a mindset, it is very difficult to do anything different. Like whenever I feel upset, or I feel I'm not able to really work now, I need a break, I just keep aside. A lot of times it's happened, I've been working, and or I've not been working, but still, even to get that mood that yes, I have to do something really very important, I have done this a lot of times. I've just slept one entire day, and that night I've done the most creative job. I would have come up with such amazing ideas, or I would have just kept everything aside and I've just do some cooking, and I would have come back with some nice ideas. So it's just that sometimes you just have to keep everything aside to come with something new.
I think beautifully shared again that when you're mentally, happy, and I think since it's a creative job, it's very important for how you also personally feel.
True. because unless and until you're not creative, how will you bring out something creative? And I always tell people who are stepping into this field that the day you are happy, the day you're satisfied with your designs, you're convinced with your designs, your clients will automatically get convinced. Because the day you are not convinced, only then you find it difficult to convince your clients.
Right.
So, you have to be innerly happy with your design, only then the other person is going to be. Because the way you again communicate, the way you show it to them plays the most important role there. So, for which your mental stability is really very important, and also the confidence in yourself that what you're doing is right.
I think some great takeaways for everyone, even for those who are looking at to pursue interior designing as a career, or for those who are already in this path. Of how they should be able to break that mental block. But another very important pointer that I have seen is that many a times being freelance interior designers, where it's your own business, there could be a time when, due to a maternity break, or you just take some time finding the right kind of projects, there seems to be a lag. So at that time, when women are in that path of their career, what is your advice for them to, motivate them to kickstart again?
See, like, I have not gone through that phase, so I will not really get into that very depth kind of a connection. But what I
Sure.
feel is that it's very hyped in India coming to pregnancy.
Right.
Like, they're like, oh, she's pregnant, and it's like just pregnant. They don't understand the difference between these two things. So, people always think that she's pregnant, so she should just rest. It's not like that. I have seen so many working women, like, you see people who are like, lower class, or people who don't have an option, but they have to go for work. They have been working irrespective of what their condition is, whether they are feeling good, whether they are not feeling good, because they know if they don't do, they cannot feed people who are there at home. So, people who are a bit blessed financially, or, who are a bit blessed with that kind of a stabilized background, they don't feel that importance. So that's the major issue which comes to the members, that, because they don't feel that importance, that I have to be on work, only then I will be happy. They are just keeping it aside. They are like, no, I am pregnant. So, it's
Right.
more of a mental game than it is a physical game. And, even when you told me about this, I was following this one designer called Sarah Sham, like, SSG Atelier. So
Right.
she's been pregnant, and she's in a third trimester. And I have seen her traveling from like last 6 months, and she's announced that only a month back. And I was like, wow, like that's the inspiration which we need, Like, if you're pregnant doesn't mean you just sit in your house in your couch. I've seen her going to Calcutta, I've seen her going to China, I've seen her going here, I've seen her going there. I've just seen her working. I've never seen her resting. And I'm like, yes, this is what I want to even inspire myself whenever that phase comes to me.
I think beautifully shared there again. I think at times it's important for you to kind of look up to the right
Yeah.
mentors. I think
Yeah,
someone who
I
inspires you.
believe that, if you're looking for inspiration, you'll find inspiration. If you're not looking for it, whatever you see, you're not going to get. Like, you really have that urge that, yes, I have to do something. Like, I've always felt like, I've so many times been so confused that what do I do next? And, I'll be just surfing, and I'll be finding, and you won't believe, like, what I had always in my mind, I would have found that answer somewhere or the other, because I was searching for it. So if you're searching for the answer, you will get it. Otherwise, you'll always be confused. And one more thing with this thing is that I understand the 2 to 3 months you do need for your body to get back to, the working posture and everything. So those 2 to 3 months help to upgrade yourself. I understand you don't have to step out, but now we are in this 21st century where everything is online.
Right.
And after this lockdown, even more everything is going to be online. So there is nothing called a full stop. There's always a comma which you have to keep filling up.
I think super motivating, and definitely something all of us should take back from this conversation positively.
Yeah, hopefully.
And also, like you shared, I think, yes, now everything is moving digital. And even during this lockdown, in fact, we have seen so many people starting to leverage digital as a space as well. But as an interior designer, do you find it to be a threat when you put your designs up out there, or what is your thoughts on brands sharing their design styles?
See, whatever you do, you will be judged. So either you be insecure or you feel secure. So if you really want to feel insecure, then even one person's sending a negative comment, you will be depressed. But if you're secure that you know what you're doing, obviously certain things will go wrong, certain things will be right, anything can happen. But then you should just be satisfied that what I'm doing is right. It's just that certain things I have to tweak it to make it even more right. We should not just make a mind that I am just right. You should be able to accept the mistakes but rectify them also, so that things go right. And when it comes to showcasing your work, you're inspiring others with it. You are not giving them a copy. Okay, so designers who are getting inspired by other people's work, get inspired, but don't copy. Copying would not really help you even grow. At some point or the other, it will show into your work that you've just copied. Because when you meet a client who wants creativity and not something which is copied, that's where you will lack. So it doesn't matter. I will be happy that somebody is copying my design and trying to portray it there.
I think a
I
very
don't, yeah, I don't think
positive
I'm
way to look at
insecure
it.
with my work. Even with my people who are working under me, I always tell them that the number of hours you're dedicating for me, I want that to be for myself, and I want you to be dedicated enough that you do not share what we speak in the company. Okay, but after that, you are welcome to do your own projects. You are welcome to explore by yourself. You are welcome to do anything. I will not stop you, because the day I stop them from growing, they will not allow my company to grow. Okay, and like I am not even particular that you have to work from 9 to 5 only for me. You can work even like say in the midnights, you can work during the day, but I want my work to be done. That's my per se. That's all. So how you plan that, how you manage that, the day I feel you're not doing my work properly, then I would take the decisions I have to take. But this is what it has to be, and this is how it has to be. The day you're happy, you finish my job and you give me the hours you're happy, you do it. The rest of the hours you want to spend with any person you want to, please do it. Because this is not a job that you have to sit in front of the system for 20 hours, 30 hours. It is a job that if you focus, even within 4 hours, you're done. Okay,
Yes.
so that's the major per se with it. So it doesn't matter, and I am not strict with my office timings or with my workflow or anything. And even my designers come and share with me that, ma'am, I've got a personal project, I have this doubt. I'm happy to help them out, because then they be more creative, they become more like stronger and confident, and they learn a lot of things when they start handling by themselves. So I really want such kind of a people under my team than people who just come here for the money and they go back. I don't want such people. So I don't really appreciate such mindsets within this field.
I think very openly shared, and thank you so much for sharing that personal talk with us.
Yeah, because that's nothing to hide. I feel like a lot of people, they put so many restrictions that people are not able to grow, and because of that they don't understand what to do in this field. So I am not scared of sharing what I'm doing, but I would be happy if they do something openly, something happily, and something which even clients, when they hire an interior designer, they don't really get scared of.
I think very beautifully shared. But another, since we're talking about building the right team, being a boss, many a times, of course, there would be, times when you work with different people, right from the laborers who help execute your projects to designers to clients. So, being a woman, especially someone who started very young, did you have any issues, with people trying to report to you, or take being taken seriously, and how did you kind
I
of
would
overcome that?
I would never say that there is an 80% advantage that I'm a woman, only a 20% disadvantage, because I am a woman. Now everybody, like especially see, this is a very male dominating kind of a field.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so majorly the labor's part and everything, it's a complete male dominant kind of a field. So when they see a woman coming and standing, they feel responsible. that a woman is coming and standing, so I have to ensure that I listen to her. And a lot of men have this mindset that women are very dominant, they are very prudent, they are very rough, they are very arrogant, okay.
Right.
So because they have such mindset, I don't really have to do much. I just have to say and they have to listen to me. There are a lot of times where they take us for granted when we are very young, or when we are like in a very starting stage. But it is, I believe, that just a bond which you have to create even with your workers, that they are happily working for you. Okay, I don't really like on just being rude with them or just being rough with them. I'm like, see, this is my design, this is what I want you to do, please finish that, and you keep going your way, I keep finishing my job. So that I don't really want to build a personal relationship, but at least a good sense of relationship, that if I call him and I'm telling him some work, he will do it for me.
Absolutely. I think building that
Yeah.
rapport.
Yes, that rapport is important. So a lot of workers, they initially be very arrogant and they'll be like, what will she know? She's just a newcomer in the market, and she's just 1-2 projects old and everything. So such arrogant people, initially it is a bit difficult to handle, but all I would say is that try to explain them with softness and give them the idea what you are trying to explain. He will shoot his ideas. He'll be like, no, you don't know this, I will do it like that. Appreciate him and then bring him down back to your idea. That's the best way to get your work done. Otherwise, these workers, majorly these carpenters, feel they know everything because they have 20-30 years of experience, but they don't upgrade themselves with what the new trend is. So that's your USP, because you're upgraded with what is today. So use that USP, don't degrade themselves and don't just scream at them. Then they will just do what they want to do and they will move out. Okay, instead listen to them, but still portray your idea and close it there. That's the best way of handling them, I would say.
I think thank you so much for sharing that, and definitely for all of our viewers, it's some great insight. And we've been seeing a lot of comments as well, which is appreciating how you've been openly talking about these issues that everyone face, but not very openly talk about.
Yeah.
So this just brings me to the last two questions before we kind of end this session. So the first one would be your 5 success mantras that you believe have worked for you personally and professionally.
Self-confidence, never let yourself down. It's okay to listen to negative comments because that will help you grow. Doesn't matter. Listen to it, but just take up how much you have to take it in. The rest, keep it aside. Because see, people will give opinions, but you should know what exactly you need to grow for yourself. So take those points, keep that to yourself, and the rest also, don't keep those negative comments away. See, we are growing and we will keep growing, okay? So in this growing period, we have to keep tweaking ourselves on the way we are working, on the way we are doing things. So listen to them and note them down and just see how you can help yourself grow. What I always do is that, I always write down things. Whenever I get any points, whenever, I want to, I document. So documentation is really very important. So first is self-confidence, second is documentation, third is consistency, fourth is just being an amazing communicator. Because if you are not able to showcase what you have really in your mind, if you're not able to make people comfortable with you, then it's never going to happen. Doesn't matter whether that person is of a low grade or of a high grade or whatever it is. It's your ethnicity, your down to earthness, which will help you grow. You don't really have to be arrogant, or you don't really have to be high profile to really step into anything. I just believe be yourself.
I think,
So just keep yourself mentally strong enough that whatever they say doesn't matter. I know what I'm doing and I know I will make mistakes. Just be acceptable. That's all you need to really, have in yourself to really be successful. I believe that.
Definitely, some very true pointers again, like you shared that that
And
confidence, knowing.
one more
Yes,
thing.
go ahead.
Everybody doesn't need to know everything about you.
Okay, I think that in fact brings me to my next question, which I wanted to ask. Uh, So, as an interior designer and founder of a company, many a times there could be an identity crisis in terms of what do you put out first on your personal page and your business page. How do you bring in that balance? How much information should be out there versus your presence your brand identity, or is your brand's USP its identity? What are your thoughts
See,
on this?
in a business page, I would always want 80% something which is relative to your business, not a crap that what you're eating, what you're doing. Like everybody is not interested in that. They want something where they can get inspired and they can really help themselves grow. So if you see my page, you will not find much. You won't even find my personal life present there. All you will find is about the content which we work on, the work experiences or the workshops which we have done. The majorly I post my workshop pictures is to boost the people who have attended my workshop. That for them to just make them feel happy that yes they were a part of our journey. The rest there is no other intention of that. But yeah, I would always believe that keep your personal life a bit aside, because what you're doing in personal life, as I told you, not everybody needs to know everything. Certain journeys, certain things you might not be comfortable. Get comfortable in your skin and then just share however you feel right way of sharing. Like make IGTV videos, or make a sequence of posts about yourself. Do something like that where people get inspired, or put an image of yourself and write down a proper like a context that why have you posted this picture, not just a random thing. Like I personally I don't really like that way of having a personal touch there.
Sure. But on your brand page, do you think being the founder, building a slight identity on your business page is essential, or you think your work will do the talking for you?
I believe it's always happened that my work has done the talking, like the talking for me, because see, being it's a brand page, agreed, it's a personal brand page as well. So if you see, it's bold by Trishla Chalani in the starting of the page itself.
Right.
Okay, so the talk it's going on there, but I don't
Right.
have to be always visible to showcase that I am there. Okay, so whenever they see bold, they will remember me. Now I think I am at least 5% being able to put that kind of an establishment on people's mind. Whenever they see this word bold, they will think about me, and that's sufficient for me. So that means I'm growing in the right path, and I don't really have to showcase my beautiful pictures to really get attractive. I want my content to be attractive and
Sorry for that glitch. No problem. Yeah, so like you said, you'd like your content to be attractive, right?
uh, Jinal, your voice is not clear to me. Yeah,
So
now
I
it's
think
fine.
like your summarizes the end.
Jinal, there is a network issue on your side. I'm not able to hear you at all.
Now am I audible?
You're audible, but your lip sync and your voice is not matching. Like there's some glitch there.
There's some glitch there. Okay. Now is it better?
Your video is stuck.
Yeah. I guess just let me check what I could do. Now is it better?
Can you just repeat?
I said, can you hear me now? Is it
I
better?
can hear you, but I think we can just do with that and complete the session.
Absolutely. So I think I'm just going to be ending this session by knowing what inspired you to have your brand name as Bold Interior Stories.
Frankly, I initially my company's name was Pine Arts Interior Studio, and then I that was more like I was doing freelancing, not a proper established company. That was okay. Then as like since I'm establishing myself, let's do it something in a proper thing. I don't know why I was not very thing to continue with finance. So I was like, okay. So I told all my friends, see for some nice names. So in that, one of my friends suggested, Trishla, why not bold? And he abbreviated that also really very well. You know, like brilliantly, original, designs, something like lovable design, something he abbreviated really very well. And I immediately got fascinated with that name. I'm like, I think, yes, this is what I wanted. And I was actually going for an exhibition to Mumbai. So I had to get my visiting cards, everything done very in a very quick manner. So I was like, okay, fine. So I started with bold interiors. Then I was like, bold interiors is like very casual, like, very usual name. Then I made it as bold stories. Then I was like, no, this is also not giving the right thing. Then I think 4 to 5 months, I got this thing that it is bold interior stories. Like, because every single interior work which we do, we are sharing a story there.
Right.
So that's when I was like, okay, let's keep it bold interior stories. And then I built my brand as Bold by Trishla Chalani. Because down the line, I do have certain visions that, I will be doing a lot more different things, a lot more ideas I would be playing around with. So that's the only reason. So even in my visiting card, if you see, the front page just has my logo. And everybody is like, okay, what is bold? And then they turn with that curiosity and they're like, oh, it's interior stories, very creative. And I'm like, yes.
I think very beautifully shared, and definitely something that you have your insight in. So when you're choosing your business name, just don't just restrict
It should
yourself to.
excite you. It should excite you. Then only it'll excite others. Like I always say, like, see, there are nearly millions of designers across. But your first representation, that is a visiting card, that itself should create that curiosity in the people that they feel like, oh, this itself is different about this person. What differently would she be doing with her work then? So, it
Right.
kind of becomes your first impression. So visiting card is actually really very important.
Again, a great takeaway for all of us back in, to have a very one, when you're choosing your business name, you should, not just restrict it with
Be
what your
excited,
current
yes.
vision is.
You should be excited at, see, we should also understand what are you trying to be credible with. Are you building a brand where people can trust you, or are you doing something with just for the sake of it? Because if you're building a brand, then you have to be really very excited. Like you should get that feeling, like, that butterfly kind of a feeling when you read it, that yes, there is, like, I am doing something different, I am doing something nice. So like, you see Google still doing some marketing videos. Why do they have to do? It's so much registered in us that anything we have to search, we go to it. But still,
Right.
they have to keep showing that presence. So it's the same thing with us. When you're building your brand, you have to show your presence. So that you have to decide how well are you doing it.
I think that's a great way to kind of end this session. I'd like
Yes.
to thank you so much for your time, and I think it was a beautiful, open discussion that we had today, addressing various
Completely.
pointers in the industry and also personally of how you've grown your brand. So, congratulations on that and all
Thank
your
you so
endeavors
much.
in the future.
Thank you so much, Jinal. Nice talking to you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.